Welcome back to Andersen Acres. We are out here in the snow today, and it's what we call a wee bit chilly. So if you watch last week's weekly update, and then you watch this week's weekly update, we have more snow. It actually snowed enough this week. If you look 2 weeks ago, we had no snow. Now we have enough snow. That's enough now. It's currently snowing. So apparently that's not enough. It's also chilly. I'm not going to say cold because it's going to get worse. But just, it's about minus 20, a little bit less than that, a little bit colder than that, minus 20 Celsius. In Fahrenheit, that is well below zero. So it's a mite chilly. Hi, Sparkle. And, yeah, the chickens are out. So, some of them, well, Sparkle's out. Shadowfax just bit my glove. Why are you doing that? Bum. And Arwen's good. So, there's Sparkle. How do we manage in frigid temperatures when it's only the end of November and it's going to be well below 40 below before you know it? Well, first of all, there's chicken. So, you know, we have a chicken. But the way we manage with the animals is first by remembering that it doesn't matter how cold it is, we still have to get out here and look after everybody. So you're not seeing, there's tequila and vodka. Yeah, loping around. But you're not seeing everyone because a heck of a lot of them are inside there. There's the chicken right there. There's chicken poking her head around the edge. They're in there because it's chilly. Okay, it's cold. So how do we manage? First, by acknowledging this isn't going anywhere. We have to deal with it, and this isn't as bad as it's going to get. So, it's cold, but it's also not as cold as it will be because it's only the end of November and we do see minus 40 and colder here. So, first thing is acknowledge that this is what it is. There's nothing you can do about the weather. You just have to deal with it. Second thing is making sure the animals are safe. So what do? For Shadowfax, literally nothing. There are no temperatures on this earth that he can't handle. Yeah, look at how fluffy he is. This reason we haven't brushed the mud out of his coat is I try not to brush the horse in the winter. That insulating layer is best if you don't disturb it. So even though there's mud in his coat, I am not going to muck with it if I don't have to. Okay, we're just going to leave it. He's not a show pony. He's not going anywhere. There's chicken over there. So he doesn't need to be fancy. He doesn't need, I'm going over here so I can get a shot at everybody. But he doesn't need to go anywhere. He doesn't need to do anything. There's chicken sitting under the barn right now. Yeah, there's chicken under the barn. That's just, you know, the way it is. But because he's not going anywhere, not doing anything, I don't need to worry about keeping him clean. I only have to worry about keeping him warm. If I don't intervene, his body will do that. What about Arwen? Well, she's a goat. She's also pretty dang hardy. All she needs is a place to get out of the wind. And the wind is picking up. So the real feel is going to be much, much colder than the temperatures I stated. But she needs a place to get out of the wind. Where does she get out of the wind? The barn. In super frigid temperatures, we do not consider this frigid. But when it drops down to around minus 40, we feed the hay in the barn. The other thing we do is we do not put water in the barns. And it sounds like, well, you should because you want them to have access to water. But the biggest problem with water isn't the lack of it in the winter. The biggest problem with water is actually what happens if that water's in the coop and makes moisture sit around inside the barns and the coops. If that moisture is sitting around, what you end up with is a really humid coop, and you do not want that wetness. So keep the water outside in frigid temperatures so that the inside of the coop is as dry, inside of the coops and barns, sorry, is as dry as you can manage. Okay? So that's why we got a bucket of water out here. We only provide 1 bucket at a time because we have to switch it frequently. I have tried, someone's going to say, well, you should try heated buckets or those water heaters. They don't work here. They'd work in this temperature, but by the time it is 40 below, they stop working. Okay? They do not keep the waters liquid enough. So we just seriously bring buckets of water out. So these guys had fresh water already. It's already icing over because it's freaking cold. So they already had their fresh water. The ducks require fresh water at least twice a day. We do 4 times a day, but at least twice a day. The chickens could technically eat snow. They're better off with fresh water. So we bring fresh water out 2 to 4 times a day, no matter the temperature. Ducks need to be able to rinse their faces, clean those nares, clear out their nostrils. That's important for ducks and geese if you have geese. So make sure you're providing fresh water even when it's frigid. The quail literally do not care. Like the quail, see, they're fine. Hi guys, how you doing, sweethearts? So the quail are fine, literally fine. So with the quail, hi guys. Oh, I gotta adjust my camera angle. But all we do with the quail is we literally just shovel snow in there. And that sounds weird, but that's literally what works the best. They don't even really like their water in the winter. They like snow. So if you just shovel a bunch of snow in, there's quail in here too. Quail. But if you just shovel a bunch of snow in, then they literally have an easier time in the winter. So snow is good for them. What about the rabbits? Okay. Rabbits are built for this. Rabbits would rather have this than the heat of summer. So the girls don't like me. I need to get Rowan to film them because the girls like Rowan. The girls like Rowan, so they'll come out for him. They won't come out for me. So when I came out, they went and hid in their hole. Though there is Trunk right there. That's Trunk. You can't really see her very well. She just went down the hole. Of course she did. But they're there. And here's the boys. They're all fantastic. They're fine. They're not cold. They have a house they can go into. Bonnie's grooming. Everyone's looking good. They can go into their house and they choose not to. Again, we bring fresh water out. They need to be able to get out of the wind. And it's good if they have snuggle buddies. So you shouldn't have a single rabbit by itself outside. It's not safe. They need snuggle buddies. But there's 4 in this pen and there's 5 in that pen. They're fine. And these girls have dug themselves a really nice den. And over top of their den is this house. So their den doesn't get full of snow. They will be perfectly warm and safe through the winter. Food and water's out here. Again, we bring food and water frequently. Okay? I'm just having a little trouble with my angle on my camera. But food and water needs to be provided. Food 24/7. Okay? Food 24/7. Water, fresh water 3 to 4 times a day. Yes, they can eat a little bit of snow, but they really need the fresh water. The other thing we do in the winter, we clear paths. So my son takes the bucket shovel and he clears these paths where we walk. Because if you don't start doing that now, what happens is you end up with 3 feet of snow that you're suddenly trudging through. So cut your paths early, keep the areas you want snow-free from the start, just so that, good stuff. She likes to eat snow. Snow is delicious and excellent. Excellent snack for doggies. They're Great Pyrenees, they don't care. Dogs are fine, they don't care. Dogs do not care. Yes, bark. Cats don't care either. The cats do not care. They're warm. They have the hay. But yeah, cut your paths early. Keep them cut. So we have paths cut everywhere where we walk. Just so that you can get around if you have to. So we can get to the feed shed. We can get to the barn. We can get wherever we need to get without significant trouble. So that's what we need. Dogs are good. Cats are good. The dogs, their food and water's in the house. Cats share water with the other animals outside, and their food is in the garage. So food and water is pretty safe. We have a little smoldering fire going on. Vodka's rolling. The dogs are unbothered until their feet get cold. Once their feet get cold, that's the end of that. I'm just going to go throw the string I picked up in the fire pit, because we don't want the string. Anyway, it's cold. It's chilly. It's going to be worse. I'm just putting this string in the fire. I just dropped it on the ground. There we go. It's not as much fun as you'd think in the winter when it's this cold. But it's a good excuse to start up the fire in the fire pit. Keeps it warm. Dogs don't care. I'm getting chilly, so we can't just ignore the fact that winter exists. We can't camp out in the house till spring. I mean, we got these guys to look after. But it's not as difficult as you think. When you think that all you have to do is haul the water, keep them fed, keep them clean through the winter, make sure it doesn't get too humid inside their buildings, and you should be fine. The animals are capable of handling some really, really nasty weather. So, vodka's fine, by the way. They're all good. But this is our first taste of winter. Everyone is weathering it good. They're weathering it better than I am. I'm annoyed. But, you know, Canada in the winter, what are you going to do? Get annoyed. And, hi, Vodka. Vodka's a happy boy. Yeah? You happy? You like cameras? You do like cameras. But that is essentially what went on this week. This snow fell, and we end up having to deal with it because we live in Canada. If we didn't want to deal with snow, we should probably move south. Anyway, the other thing on the agenda for today is I am breeding a couple of my rabbits. I am breeding Libra, and I am breeding Celeste, who did not catch last time. I bred her 2 months ago, but she didn't catch, so I'm breeding her again. I'm breeding the two of them at the same time. So maybe, if either one of them catches, or if they both catch, we might have baby bunnies come New Year's. Wouldn't that be nice? Because I love baby bunnies. Dogs wrestling in the snow. Anyway, that is about it for us here today at Andersen Acres. We'll see you tomorrow.